guys, Asher coming at you today, Race Shot Legends. Welcome to the video. I'm glad to have you all here with me today. What could be better than getting millions extra damage onto your Hydra clan boss runs?
Let me think about that for a second.
Are you guys super into Hydra clan boss, by the way? I am. I really love Hydra. It's one of my favorite parts of the game. It's funny, I used to feel that way maybe years ago about old school Demon Lord, and now that's all the affinity that I had towards old school clan boss has been now reprojected or reallocated to the Hydra clan boss. But first, a big thank you to today's video sponsor. It is Dragon Air Silent Gods. Now, you guys, I see you in the comments been asking me to play this game more, to cover this game more, to bring this game back on the channel for good reason, honestly. Season 3 is almost here, guys, and this seems to be the best one yet by a mile. You guys know Dragon Air Silent Gods, kind of open world RPG themes, has those kind of tabletop gaming aesthetics, Dungeons and Dragons collaborations, and we are not done. Look at this teaser here, guys. Look at this teaser. Who do you think the next collab character will be? We've already had Dritz. We've already had Elminster as well in the past. Well, guys, the suspense is killing me. So, guys, Season 3 Echoes of the Deep will be dropping on March 22nd. So, odds are it's actually live right now. What a perfect time to go ahead and download this game using my link in the description below. And I have some goodies for you, but wait, let me tell you a little bit more about Season 3. So, we have events every day with endless rewards. Again, this is a favorite of hardcore players. Season 3 looks to be really, really juicy. We have a Season 3 exclusive summoning event. We have an Easter event as well, a half anniversary celebration special, because why not? I told you about the events. We have obviously the new elemental affinities. We have Radiance and Fire, Power and Blaze, Poison and Ice, Power and Withering, Necrosis and Lightning, and Power and Daze. We have new damage types as well. We have Corrosion, we have Shadow, and we have Aura this season, Season 3. We have 31 new heroes. They are stacking it. We have a new season boss. We have a new Fey Meander boss. We have new dungeons. We have brand new boss mechanics as well. And of course, new equipment and new artifacts as well. All that, guys, and plenty of quality of life improvements, new sandbox, and much, much more. We have a promo code DRAGON0322. That's Dragon 0322. You can see it on the screen, right? You'll get a Starlight Stone dice. You'll get a 30 Warm Marrow and 30k gold. Thank you, Dragon Air Silent Gods, for sponsoring today's video. Download now. Check out Season 3, guys. And a big tip that I have for you guys is the power of Hex, but the power of Hex vis-a-vis the curse set, but the power of Hex vis-a-vis the curse set on the right type of champions. This changed the game for me, and I'm confident, I'm sure of it, it will do the same for you guys as well if you don't already take advantage of this strategy. If you do, by the way, let me know the champions that you use and how you implement it into your Hydra clan boss teams.
We're depending on you.
You know, I was recording yesterday's video, the day before, about Grando, Padrig, or whatever his name is, right? I ran this team, I got 1 billion damage in Hydra hard, and then I free regrouped it at the very end of the video. And a couple of you commented, like, why are you free regrouping 1 billion damage? Well, nothing against Grando at all. Like, I love that champion. That was very evident in that video. Yeah. But it's because this is not the best I can do because I don't have a Hexer on this team. Now, if you're just looking for Hex, of course, there's, a bunch of Hex champions that are really good inside the game, right? My faves, and obviously if you have Archer Queen, you're running Archer Queen, but she has Provoke and Hex on the same ability. Mithrala is a great option as well. However, some of the ones I'm about to show you guys, I actually like better than Mithrala as well, which is crazy to say because Mithrala is so good. Mithrala probably better in a vacuum than these champions, but I want to talk about one specific strategy. But yeah, Mithrala, she's going to be a great option. And then Michinaki, these are my 3 favorites personally. Michinaki also applies Hex, decreased defense, and removes buffs, right? But you can't use, unless you have a super stacked account and you have like 100 of these champions, right? You're not going to be using them on every team. So you need to devise strategies, like my team, for example, right? Yeah, it's like a pay-to-win team, Crixian and Garrel and whatever. But it doesn't matter the team. It doesn't matter who the rest of the champions are. I'm always trying to get a Hex. I need to get a Hex on every single one of my teams. It's so much extra damage. You should not be leaving that off the table. Like that's going to be a difference maker, even if you're already one king or whatever, even for your Hydra class teams, right? So my favorite strategy, I made a whole video about Tramaria, a champion that frankly I used to hate, and now she's one of my favorite champions in the game. I was so wrong on her. I just found her kit to be like meh, you know, like an AoE stun, but she seems like a Hydra clan boss champion, so what do I care about a stun? Then she's got an AoE decreased speed on the A1, and then a cleanse, you know, and like, I don't know, she didn't feel void legendary to me, but now, and she has speed in all battles, by the way, now I'm using her not only because of a speed or a lead, but I'm using her as my cursed, I'll show you the build really quickly, but what I want to do in today's video is I want to give you guys some inspiration. I picked out like my favorite 10 or so champions, including epics, for a cursed set. It will give you a reason to actually farm Ice Golem, right? Ice Golem went from a dungeon that pretty much nobody touched. Why am I going to Spider? I have no idea. That, you know, pretty much nobody touched except for just getting your hands on I don't know, what were a reflex gear. I think it was yeah. People got their, I farmed for some reflex gear back in the day, but now that they changed everything, Provoke is a lot more in demand. Cursed went from being heal reduction, a set that nobody cared about at all, just automatically to the trash, to a set that is one of the better ones out there in the game. Retaliation is a lot better now. That's a 2-piece set. So I could go on. It's still not, I don't think it's the best dungeon. I still think Fire Knight is personally, in terms of the gear that is. However, yeah, man, Provoked and Curse sets and Reflex still, right, are so freaking good in this game. So farm some Ice Golem, get your hands on some halfway decent, or, you know, even a little bit below average, and I still think you're going to love the results. I'll show you my Tremaria. Why am I putting it on Tremaria? Why is Tremaria so key to this, right? So what I like to do personally, I tested a bunch of different things. Obviously, you can put it on a strong nuker like a Cupidus with an AoE on the A1 or a bunch of AoEs or whatever, you know. That's one way you can absolutely go. But what I like to do is put a curse set just like this, right? Curse set, 50% chance of applying Hex for 2 turns on a support champion and build them to be a damage dealer. That's what I really love doing. I'm going to be able to get, and I'm going to run this at the end of the video if you want to see the damage that Tremaria is able to put out. It's insane, right? We're talking hundreds of millions of damage, right? Built her as a nuker, even with a base attack at 892. I made a whole video about this, right? But I like to build, it's not just Tremaria. I'm showing you a Void Legendary. I probably shouldn't have started with her, right? She's the one that I use, right? But she has really good multipliers, but really bad base attack. So I build her to be a nuker, whatever, right? Doesn't even necessarily matter if you build him to be a nuker or not. I just like in getting extra utility out of my support champions vis-a-vis the curse set. That way, everybody's dealing more damage throughout the entire duration of the battle, thanks to the Hex, right? So you need Hex on every team. You guys will notice the difference. So what I look out for is a support with an AoE on the A1. A lot of them have a decreased speed on the A1 as well, which is even better, okay? So she has an AoE, decreased speed. She has another AoE on the A2. So to me, it's kind of the trifecta here. It's a great candidate for Brimstone. I already have her. I'm already building her for accuracy because of the decreased speed. So between the Brimstone, between the Curse set, and between building her with 100% crit rate, like kind of like a nuker, right? Provided, again, make sure we can keep them alive first and foremost here, but usually you already have kind of a plan to keep everybody alive on your team. You have revivers or healers or whatever you're using on your Hydra clan boss team anyway, that it's not necessarily that much of a downfall to build a support champion as a nuker. So damage, curse set, and in Brimstone, and she ends up being an absolute monster for my team, okay? Let me show you some of my favorite options for you guys to use a curse set for your Hydra clan boss team. I showed you Tremaria. Let me show a few more. Another one that I use right now, who I've used since he's came out, really, is Mighty Uko. This guy's a monster. And just like Tremaria, he has an AoE on his A1 and an AoE on his A2. The cool thing is he also brings block buffs. He also brings, you know, decreased accuracy. He can remove buffs. He's doing so much, and he has a pretty high base attack at 1233, so you can get some damage out of him as well. Personally, I shut off the Uko's Mercy. I don't use it unless I really need to, so I try to kind of keep an eye on the team. Usually, I don't need the revive on the team that I use, but sometimes you might need it. You might need to go in auto for a moment. Otherwise, you know, you're kind of wasting an AoE Hex application potential when you don't really need it, or an increased speed alone. To me, that's not worth it. It's kind of the one annoying thing out of Mighty Uko's kit, personally. Let's talk about a few epics, though. I'm going to show you my favorite epics to run in a curse set, guys. I swear you guys will not regret. If you're not already doing this, you got to give it a shot. Anchorite. I really like this guy. I slept on this guy for a long time, guys. Really, really cool champion. First, on his A2, he's removing a debuff from all allies, increase the duration of all ally buffs on a 3-turn cooldown. You love that ability, right? And then a full heal, increased crit rate, increased crit damage on all allies. Not bad. Full heal again, plus the increased crit damage helps with damage. But most importantly, for the intents of this video, an AoE on Warm Embrace. An AoE on the A1 ability heals the ally with lowest HP by 10% of the damage inflicted, excuse me. So consistent heals between the A1 and the A3, and you can apply the curse, and his attack scales fairly well for a support champion at 1046. You can get some damage out of him as well. He also brings an HP in all battles aura, right? So really slept on Epic, who you ought to consider as well, especially if you don't have access to some of the legendaries we're going to talk about in this video. Of course, there's Geomancer. Geomancer, I feel like most people run him in a Reflex set, and Reflex is great for Geo because you can get back to the Quicksand Grasp and yada, yada, yada. However, Curse set, Quicksand Grasp is already on a 3-turn cooldown, right? You can just go in with a Curse, AoE on the A1, apply Decreased Accuracy, and while you're at it, apply Hex from an already incredibly formidable damage dealer in your team in Geomancer. And then my other epic shout out here is more than a shout out. I mean, great, fantastic epics to use is White Dryad Naya. White Dryad Naya has a reset cooldown ability, excuse me, with a cleanse on a target ally. Very, very powerful, especially if you're on an auto run, right? Or a manual run, excuse me. And then Bark Flesh. An ally protect and a strengthen on a 3-turn cooldown. Be careful because you can take some damage because of this ability, but an AoE decreased speed on the A1, just like Tremaria, just like Krisk, just like Graz or Iron Gut. And honestly, these are other champions that you guys consider if you're lucky enough to have them, okay? Grazer is absolutely amazing. You guys already know. He has an AoE, an AoE, and an AoE. He's going to be a great Hex applier vis-a-vis a curse set for you guys. Why not? Why not, right? AoE on the A1 is what we're really looking for. That way we can keep that Hex up on all the Hydra heads as long as possible. Same thing with Krisk the Ageless, right? A lot of people are putting Krisk the Ageless into curse sets for this very reason. AoE decreased speed on the A1, you love it. Let's talk about other champions with AoE decreased speeds on their A1. Do you know what I'm talking about? The lady in red? Anybody? Of course, it is Mother Cybele. She's another great one. She's super fast too. Man, you build her for damage. I'm telling you guys, she puts out a sneaky big amount of damage for a support champion, and she's got the AoE with the decreased speed on the A1 with her own turn meter fill as well. She can bring Revive on Death, increased defense, and a swap HP ability with some block damage, continuous heals, the whole 9. You can also use her as a speed aura lead. I've talked about a few, but there's so many more of these AoE A1 support champions in the game, guys. Lizard Men, not Skinwalker Ash. I really, really love Necmo Thar. Who doesn't, right? He's got an AoE, decrease attack. He's got another AoE, decrease speed, and a leech. Why not throw him in a curse set? I actually personally use my Necmo Thar in a relentless set, but curse works so well on Necmo Thar. And of course, he's already one of the most competent in beast mode Hydra clan boss slayers in the game, right? Who else do we have here? Oh man, we need to go to Undead Horde really quickly here, because there's two champions that honestly
stop right there.
I don't love these two champions. I like them, right? But not love. But you put them in a curse set, it adds just enough utility, viability to them to actually put them closer to, okay, this is actually adding a lot to the squad, a lot to my team. AoE on Skartorsis, AoE on the A1, 50% chance of stealing a random buff from each enemy, really solid against Hydra. He also has an increased attack that he's bringing to the table. He also has a cleanse that he's bringing to the table as well. Again, kind of similar kit to a Tremaria as well. And then we have Suzerain Catone. Where are you? Right in front of my face. There he is. He's dealing more damage than a Skartorsis, but he's bringing the AoE decreased speed on the A1, 50% chance again. He also brings a weakened decreased defense and another AoE with some buff removal, right? On the A3, banished from time. So 3 AoEs in Suzerain Katan's kit, Katan, whatever. So these are just a few examples, guys. There's a lot more in the game, but those are my favorite candidates for a curse set on your account. Let me show you my Hydra run, guys. Obviously, I'm going to come back in a million years fears, I'm going to use that same exact team that I opened the video with, right? Everything's going to be the same. It's going to be full auto, same rotation, the whole nine. Now, Grando Padrig is not wasn't built to be a nuker, right? So obviously, Tramaria, who is built to be a nuker, as you guys just saw, she's obviously going to outdamage him. But we're also going to be adding that Hex to the battle, and you guys will see in the final results just how big of an impact it will have, right? So we're going to go in here. We're going to use, again, the same team. Here it is, setting things up. We also have the speed lead that we can now use from Tramaria, which is fantastic. So let's just go ahead and jump in, and I'll show you the new total damage output. I guess I'll show you a couple turns, might as well, right? Not that there's anything too crazy to see here, but it's the same strategy we used in that video. Let me make myself a little bit smaller here as well, and we should be good to go. All right, there we go. So we'll be able to cleanse all this stuff off in just a moment here. We can use Tramaria. The cool thing is similar to a lot of the champions that we spoke about, a lot of them have a cleanse. So we can actually use them. We can make the decision. We can use that A3 if we want to. Sometimes, some players might shut that A3 off. I found that using the A3 on, even though there's no damage on that ability, is still better overall, right? Rather than punting that cleanse ability. And here we're going to do the same thing right now. We're going to cleanse again away the true fears. This is just allowing me time to get through this first rotation and just kind of set this team up. Then we can just go full auto battle after that. So we come in here. We still don't have the Hex, unfortunately, right? Do have some Brimstones, which is nice. Or one, I should say, obviously. But now we can start using her. And even though she does a little bit more damage on the A2, I'm actually going to go into A1 because I also want to land the decreased speed if we can, right? So we do land a decreased speed, and we start applying these hexes. We just got 3 hexes there, and now we're going to get that extra hex damage on every single attack. Now, you're not going to notice the extra hex damage, it's not going to be crazy on little nibbles like we just saw. When we start getting those big nukes from Trunda and everybody else, Garrel on the team, those hexes are going to be so important. Those extra little bits of itsy bitsy damage, it really does adding up, right, over the course of these long battles to the tunes of, millions of extra damage. You can see all those little red numbers there, what's not obviously, War Master procs or the likes. It's the hex damage that we're getting, right? So it can make a big, profound impact. I promise you guys, if you're not already using this, please consider using it on your Hydra clan boss teams, excuse me. And you will not, like I said, you will not regret this. All right, guys, I'm going to come back at you guys. Again, we're going to go into A1, and having the decreased speed is so crucial because this team otherwise would not have a decreased speed either, right? So she's such a difference maker for this team. That's why I really like the Mother Cybals. I really like the Krisks. I really like the Tramarias, the White Dryad Nayas, the champions that we discussed that do have that the decreased speed on the A1. So guys, I'm gonna run it. I'll come back to you guys when we're done. Be right back. All right, guys, so we are back, and hey, return count 1,500 right now, and the damage is juicy. Now, it's not going to beat any world records. I mean, we're looking at some Trunda teams with double, triple resets on them, scoring just 50 billion damage, bonkers level. But those are also full manual, and this is just a nice, lazy Tramaria team. By the way, guys, my audio went when I originally just recorded this, so I had to redo it right now. You can see myself behind myself. Don't pay attention to that man behind the curtain. But Tramaria ended up putting out with the Hex, just getting more damage from everybody, and Hex benefits single target, more than AoE, 10% damage, right? She put out 259,000 million, excuse me. 259,000 would be pretty bad. 259 million damage from Tramaria herself, right? Which is just in her own right. That's above and beyond the Hex, bringing a lot to the squad here, guys. So hopefully this video was able to help you guys out, give you a little bit of inspiration to try one of these amazing champions in that curse set. Thank you for watching till the end of the video, and as always, take care, guys.